Part 6. Claire's statement left the entire Wilson family stunned. Everyone thought, Claire must be crazy. Don't waste your time showing off. In this moment of being the center of attention, what could be the result other than death? M Grand Group is the largest company in Orris Hill. How can anyone see the Wilson family? Anyone who talks about it will never succeed. Harold couldn't help but say sarcastically, Claire, do you think you can get a contract from M Grand Group? Harold's own sister and Claire's cousin, Wendy, also sneered at this time. Sister Claire, what is your identity? And what is the identity of the M Grand Group? You go to speak so rashly. Don't embarrass our Wilson family. Someone agreed. That is, if he was kicked out by the M Grand Group back then, our Wilson family would definitely become the laughingstock of Orris Hill. When Claire heard that voice, her cheeks turned very red, feeling very embarrassed. Since marrying Charlie, her status in the family had declined, becoming increasingly unimportant, and almost squeezed out, and even her parents had been ridiculed. He felt that if he could discuss this project with M Grand Group, his position in the family would definitely be consolidated. The most important thing is that parents can also stand up straight. But at this moment, being mocked by so many people, he couldn't help but back down. He looked at Charlie in depression. Why did he listen to his bewitching words? He wouldn't have stood up for this if he had known. Old Mrs. Wilson was furious when she heard what everyone said. After asking this question several times, no one dared to take on the task. Now Claire took the initiative to stand up, and a group of people began pouring cold water on her again. Although old Mrs. Wilson had always disliked Claire, at this moment she felt that Claire was at least willing to share her worries, unlike others who only knew to hide in their shelves at this time. Especially Harold, her beloved grandson, disappointed her greatly. Because of this, old Mrs. Wilson's attitude towards Claire also changed a lot. So, she immediately said, since others don't dare to agree, don't talk nonsense. This time, we are cooperating with the M Grand Group on this project. Let Claire talk about it. Claire could only bite the bullet and reply, don't worry, Grandma, I will definitely try my hardest. At this time, Harold sneered coldly from his nose and said, what's the point of going all out? It's not shameful for the family to fail in the end. Charlie asked him with a sneer, Harold, what's your purpose in singing badly? Don't you think that Wilson family is qualified to cooperate with the M Grand Group? Harold had never expected that Charlie would dare to speak up at the family gathering, and he would wear a top hat on himself. Seeing that old Mrs. Wilson's expression was also a little sullen, he quickly explained, it's not that. I just think it's impossible for Claire to talk about this cooperation. Charlie smiled and asked him, then what if he can talk about cooperation at first? Should we make a bet? Harold sneered, come on, just bet. I will be afraid of you. Tell me, what are you betting? Charlie said, if he starts negotiating the contract, you kneel down and knock me 3 times in front of the whole family and say you were wrong. If he can't negotiate at first, I will knock 3 times for you and say loudly that I was wrong. What do you think? Ha ha ha! Harold immediately burst out laughing. You trash are really looking for death. All right, I'll bet with you. Charlie nodded in satisfaction and said, the whole family is here to witness that if anyone goes back, it is equivalent to wishing death for father, mother, grandfather, grandmother. Charlie deliberately said the 3 words dead grandma very seriously, because he was afraid that Harold would back down when he lost. As soon as these words came out, Harold never dared to turn back, because that way, wouldn't his grandmother, old Mrs. Wilson, be dead? When the time came, old Miss Wilson wouldn't let him go. Okay, Harold didn't know that Charlie had dug a hole for him, but instead felt that it was impossible for him to lose. So Charlie laughed and said, witness the whole family. I am waiting for you to kowtow to me. Claire was surprised and kept winking at him, but she didn't expect him to completely ignore her. Old Mrs. Wilson didn't care about this kind of gambling. Her only concern was whether she could get on the M Grand Group's list of partners. If she could, let alone letting Harold kneel in front of Charlie. Even if Harold called Charlie his father, she wouldn't care. So she said, "Today's meeting ends here. Claire, you have 3 days to win the contract." Back home, the father-in-law and mother-in-law immediately attacked Charlie and Claire. Elaine's mother-in-law was anxiously worried and said, "Claire, you are crazy. How can you listen to Charlie's rubbish words? So confused and promised this job." Jacob's father-in-law also scolded Charlie and said, Charlie, you trash. You have killed my girl." Then his father-in-law said angrily, "If you can't talk about the M Grand Group cooperation from the start, you will be definitely blackmailed by the family. You trash will also kneel and kowtow to Harold in front of the whole family. Don't you want to lose it?" Charlie said seriously, "Mom and Dad, as long as the contract can be negotiated at the beginning, everything will be resolved. Right? Talk. Talk all nonsense." Father-in-law scolded, "Do you know how powerful the M Grand Group is? How can they look at the Wilson family?" Charlie smiled and said, "Maybe they can't see it. I think it must be fine at first, and he can definitely get his contract." Mother-in-law sneered at the side and said, "You think you're the boss of the M Grand Group? A piece of trash. Do you use your end brain? You are still talking here."